You're listening to the Savvy Solo Parent Podcast. Your host, Kelly K. Fisher. Where love meets learning and stories find their home.
Hey there. Welcome to the Savvy Solo Parent Podcast. I am so excited to be here. I can't even tell you how excited I am. Nervous. Okay, I'm going to be transparent. I have a nervousness about me, but however, I know that this message has to get out here. And so this is episode 1. And so I'm just so happy to have you all here. I'm Kelly K. Fisher, and I am a certified life and relationship coach, and I've been a professional matchmaker for many, many years. And this is a passion project of mine, just reaching out to solo parents, and I changed the name. I'll tell you why in a minute. But people who are parenting solo across the country and the world, there are different struggles and dynamics that a lot of times people don't realize that we go through. And so I'm now married. I'm going to tell you the whole story about myself. But for over 10 years, I was someone that was parenting 3 daughters solo. I went through a challenging divorce, relocated with 3 children in tow. My youngest daughter was turning 2 at the time, so I relocated from New Jersey to Charlotte, started over again, and I'm telling you, the story from there is just amazing. But during that time, so many challenges, so many things that I realized over time that I needed support with, and I said, okay, when I get to a point, I'm going to look back and help others. So just know that I am someone who has built several companies, made courageous steps while working past fear. And I help single parents now believe beyond boundaries and unlock their path to the life that they deserve. So let's talk about who this community will serve. So definitely people who are parenting solo, who are high achievers. And so the reason that, I'll tell you now, the reason that I changed the name from single parents to solo parents is because so often when you think of, you might tell someone, hey, I'm a single parent. And all of a sudden, it never fails. Someone will be like, you get that little pause. And I mean, I'd be feeling fine. Then before you know it, somebody says, they have that type of emotion that just brings you down. And I said, well, goodness, I wasn't feeling bad before that. But by the time they say something, I'm like, oh, wow. So really, it's people who are parenting solo. People who are parenting solo, they're not always down and depressed. They're not always, and yes, there are very challenging moments, believe me. But they're high achievers. There are people who have life goals. And so the reason that I wanted to change the name is that, no, we are savvy solo parents. So whether you're widowed, whether you're divorced, whether you're co-parenting, whether you have adopted some children or even inherited some children, sometimes people someone may have passed away, or maybe a sister or an aunt or someone is not able to take care of their kids, and somehow they've come into your care. So anyway, you're parenting single by choice. That's another big thing that's going on now, where a lot of people are like, you know what, I would like to have children on my own. I don't really need a partner at this point. And so that too. So there's so many ways that people can parent solo, but just know that you're amazing. And that you are not just single parents, but you're savvy solo parents. And so that's the community that we serve. And so I made some notes here. Definitely some of the key challenges for this community. Overwhelm from juggling multiple responsibilities. Gosh, now that is something that I can say, that just being overwhelmed. And I think sometimes, not for everybody, but I know for me, I felt like I was trying to overcompensate sometimes, being like more than one person. Like I'm trying to do a million things and be this whole superwoman. I'm trying to, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that. But after a while, it's like, you know what? I can't. I'm burned out and I want to be the best version of myself. So I always say, as the founder of this community, just like when you're flying a plane and they say, put your mask on first and then help everyone else. So as a solo parent, you have to put your mask on first. So we'll talk about that as well. But definitely being overwhelmed from not only juggling multiple responsibilities, but let's be real, sometimes we are trying to overcompensate and just have that time with our children to be so fabulous so that they don't even realize that there's only one of us and not 2. So So feeling stuck in current circumstances, sometimes you can feel stuck. Sometimes, I know for myself, just feeling like these are the circumstances, I'm going to wait until I have all these dreams and these visions and these goals, but I'm going to wait until my children are 18 and then I'll be able to live my life. But no, you don't have to do that. You can really live your life and have your children and be a great parent. And we'll talk about some ways to do that. I thankfully, found a way to do that, and just thinking out loud, even when I wrote my book, because I've written 2 books now. I mean, it's just a way. I always say it's not how you can do it, but, if you can do it, but how you can do it as a solo parent. And so I was writing my book, and I said, well, you know what, I'll do some chapters. I did like 1 chapter every night after the children went to sleep. So whether it was 10 minutes, whether it was 30 minutes. So that might not be how someone else can do it, but there are different ways that we can get around having goals and really getting some things done. But just keep that in mind. It's not if you can do it, it's how you can do it. Another challenge that solo parents sometimes can experience is feeling unsupported and alone in their journey. And so that's something that, this community is going to be definitely a part of, just making everyone feel like part of a family, part of a community, like you're not on your own. I know sometimes when I would show up to children's events or the school events or sporting events and things, I just never knew who around me was a single parent. There were a lot of times where there were 2 parents there cheering their kids on and different things. And I was like, gosh, it would be nice if, we could have a little single parent area in the stadium. Like we could go and cheer our kids on and really be a support for each other. And so we're not going to feel alone, because this community is here to be a support for each other. And then financial strain and economic insecurity. So financial strain, yes, is real. So I would love to say that all single parents are thriving and have a ton of money, but a lot of times it's really stretching because, from my experience, I had 3 children. Even if you have 1, there are a lot of things that they need to do, especially as they get older and older, and they need sneakers and they need their hair done, or they need new clothes, or they're growing out of things. It can be a lot. And so we're going to have some financial advisors and people to be able to share some tips for us to be able to, know how to stretch our money, but also not just for the kids, but for ourselves, because we count too. And then another challenge is feeling devalued by society, family, and peers. And so that is something that, like I mentioned, early on, a lot of times they're like, oh, no, so Kelly, she's a single parent. So, I know she's, down and out and destitute. So, no, I was still the same person. In my case, I was divorced, but I was still the same person, a go-getter, someone who had goals and visions, someone who had ideas of starting a business, which I did eventually. But no, single parents, I want everyone, even if you're not a single parent, even if you're someone who is in this community and you happen to just be a supporter or an ally of people who are parenting solo, just know that the person next to you, just even change your mindset. If that's the only thing that happens by you watching our episodes or our information, is that the next time you see a single parent or someone who's parenting solo, you're like, you know what? They're amazing. They're amazing. They can multitask. They are still the same person before they had children than they were afterwards. And all of the amazing qualities that they had before, they still have them. So even just recognizing that and also encouraging them to, live out their goals. See how you can help. How about that? Right? We'll talk about reaching out for help too, because that's something a lot of times we're not too good at. And so 3 more, emotional and physical exhaustion. Sometimes we're drained. Sometimes I would be just so tired by the end of the day. So how to stretch 24 hours in a different way. So how can there be time for people who are parenting solo to be able to have time for themselves? Because so often everything sometimes can become about the children. And that's not what this is about. This is about living and thriving while you are parenting, because you can't get these years back. If it's 18 years, or if you have 10 years to go, if you have 5 years to go, if you have 2 years to go, there's still years that we can't get back. So we want to make sure that people who are parenting solo are living their life and reaching their goals and having a great time while doing it, really prioritizing yourself. So making constant personal sacrifices. So as people who are parenting solo, just a little inside track. I think a lot of times we get to be at the point where we're doing everything for everybody else. So all of a sudden it's just, let me just help this person. So it just becomes part of the personality. And so we don't want you to always make personal sacrifices for everybody else and not even taking care of yourself. At this point, we are going to really make a strategy on how to care for yourself, how to prioritize your well-being, all while parenting solo. And then self-care and low self-care and neglecting your own needs. We talked about that. And then the biggest thing that we will be taking care of and really giving some time to in this community is limiting beliefs about what's possible as a solo parent. I cannot tell you, and I can only speak from my experience, so that's why we're going to bring all types of guests with different experiences and stories and be able to share best practices and things that even you've learned that maybe someone in another area or another part of the world, the part of the country can really gain knowledge about. But it's so easy to have limiting beliefs because whether it's something that we put on ourselves or if it's something that someone else has put on us, like you can't do that because you have these children. You can't do that because you have this child. You can't do that because it makes you a bad parent. No, that's not something that's going to happen on our watch. You can do that. Again, it's not if you can do it, it's how. So no limiting beliefs. We're going to put all of the visions out there. And as a life coach and a relationship coach, we're going to just go step by step on how to get it done. So I'm so excited to help everyone with these types of things and all of the things that may come to your mind, because I just want to make sure that you realize that you're seen, that some of the challenges that you have are noticed and validated, because a lot of times it can feel like, they're not validated, but they are. And so let's talk about the mindset of how we want this community to feel as you're experiencing either the episodes of the podcast, or if you come to a conference, or, if you're working one-on-one in coaching, whatever it might be, speaking engagements, how we want you to feel, even when you're engaged in social media in our groups. We want you to be ready to think differently about your situation. So arriving to this community feeling like, you know what, I'm here now, but I am ready to think differently about my situation. It could be in any of those areas that, I want to do more. I want to be encouraged to be the person that I am. I feel like everybody in the entire world is equipped with different gifts and different things that they have in their mind that they want to do. And so we want to not be afraid to put it out there. We want to put it out there boldly and really have a strategy on how to get there. Another part of your mindset that, we want you to feel when you come to this community is just being open to believing beyond boundaries. And I would say conventional boundaries, because a lot of times it's like, okay, well, I day to day, and I know how it is, because it's like every 24 hours you have something on your mind, a whole list of things that you want to get done, but it just doesn't seem like you can get to it. However, just come into this community knowing that, I am going to believe beyond conventional boundaries. A lot of times people would think that it's supposed to be one way, but how can I do things differently? We're already at a different place in our lives as people who are parenting solo. A lot of times it's like, okay, it's supposed to be a couple with a white picket fence and a dog and all of that stuff, but you're already there. How about that? So you are already there. So at this point, we need to just embrace it. So our path as people who are parenting solo has gone in a different way. And so we're just going to roll with it and make it amazing. And so another part of the mindset is just being motivated to create change. Motivated to create change, but needs strategy and support. So just know that there's strategy here. There's going to be support here. There are going to be resources, and my super friends who are coming who have either solo parented and they have made it to their other side. And I wouldn't say other side, because we know parenting, whether you're solo or if you're in a partnered situation, it's never done, right? I'm still talking to my mom. Like I talked to her before I got here. So that journey is never done. However, we want you to be able to know that there is going to be strategy and support in this community. And I'm so happy to bring that to you. And also, if you want to move from surviving to thriving, there are some, solo parents who feel like you're just surviving. And there are many times when I just thought like my head was just barely over water, just trying to. And it's so funny. I would always say, look, today I got home, all three of my daughters, they came home alive. I got them from where they were supposed to be. I picked them up, one person from this school, this person from this sporting event, this person from dance. We got home, we closed the door, we're safe, and it's another day in the books. And so that sometimes can be the goal, and that's fine because there are different days for different things. However, if we put some bigger goals out there, you'll be surprised how you can work them into your life. And so I also wanted to talk about the framework for this community, because it's going to be something where you'll usually hear something on one of these 4 pillars in the community. So and I was talking to one of my mentors about this, and she was like, you know what? It really sounds like the whole point of this community is to arrive at some kind of freedom, because it's so, you just feel so tight in different areas, just trying to not really having any type of system on anything. But it's really a priority to be able to come up with some type of freedom. So, and she helped me to develop this. So lifestyle freedom, financial freedom, mindset freedom, and growth freedom. So that is what we are working toward. And I don't know that we ever arrive, but it's something that we're going to work toward, and it's going to be a work in progress. And so we talk about lifestyle freedom. Wouldn't it be nice? And I want you to just close your eyes and just think about just having the flexibility to live the lifestyle as a parent. We're not talking about the kids right now. As a parent, to be able to, have flexibility in your schedule, flexibility in your life design, flexibility to enjoy some hobbies, flexibility to have some fun sometimes. I think that's something that a lot of times is so, it's just not something that's included in what someone who's parenting solo should do. But can we have freedom to have fun? It's okay to have fun. And we'll be doing that together with some retreats and get-togethers as well, maybe some virtual get-togethers we have on the books, but really just helping you to design your day-to-day fun or your weekly fun or monthly fun. It's amazing how much just a little woosah moment can really make a big difference. And so we'll also talk about financial freedom. So just being able to build some income streams, smart money moves, economic independence, and really just the day-to-day. How can I have the money that I have stretched to not just take care of myself and my family, but also include some of the goals that I have in life? And so that's something that we'll talk about as well. We'll bring in some friends to talk about that. And then we talked about mindset freedom, breaking free from societal expectations and shoulds. Like, I should do this, I should do that. No, there are no societal expectations that are going to hold us back. I remember with my one of my children who went to private school, and a lot of times, we would go to, the little get-togethers after, where they would have like the parent meetings and things like that. And of course, it was most of the time it was, couples. It was couples arriving. I would have so much anxiety. Like, oh God, I parked my car like, oh God, I got to walk in here on my own. So, usually they're like, and it's no fault of their own, but it's like, okay, well, where is your husband? Like, what does he do? Okay, I am actually a single parent. And then what comes? You get that. So I want to be able to pass it on, that you can come in there. You don't have to be sitting in the car taking a whole woosah. You're going in there saying, yes, I am a solo parent and I am amazing. Yes, I am. And have some real conversations and things that you have already prepared so that you're not fumbling, that you can have some confidence in how you're showing up and it's just a different family dynamic. And so you come in there confident, and a lot of times you'll see that little response will go away because you're coming in there prepared. And just knowing who you are and knowing that, yes, this is how my family is constructed and it works for us. And then the last one would be growth freedom. So personal development, pursuing dreams, and expanding possibilities. So we want to make sure that we are helping you develop personally and just helping you to be the best person that you can be. So our call to action, we want to make sure that you visit our website, thesavvysoloparent.com. There's a free download for you as well. which is 5 power moves every solo parent leader should make. And so definitely we want you to download that. Follow us on all social media, and you'll see us soon. So I am so excited. Again, I'm Kelly K. Fisher, and I am a solo parent strategist and lifestyle mentor. And I will see you again very soon. Thanks for joining.
You've been listening to the Savvy Solo Parent Podcast.